What it do? Bad Sound Crew. Hey man, listen, the UFC, oh sorry, I forgot to say it. Listen, today, the UFC has recently announced UFC 304. They're going to Manchester. It's a pay-per-view. One thing I will say, shout out to Dana White, absolute Chad, making the UK fans go to the arena at fucking 3 a.m. for America. If that doesn't represent the United States, I don't know what does. But today, the best matchmaker on YouTube, I'm going to step in like I'm Herb Dean. Trust. And I'm going to build a sick pay-per-view card for this. I have an insane idea for this card because when people talk about matchmaking, they talk about card builders, everybody drops the same fucking video. All the other YouTubers, they drop the same fights every single video. Fuck that, bro. I'm going to cook today, all right? Let's get straight into this. I'm going to give you the main card, then we're going to do the prelims. Starting off the main card, there is a very obvious fight that needs to be made, okay? There was a great call out made to set up this fight. I considered putting this as the featured matchup simply because I know this is going to generate probably the most fan interest outside of the main event, all right? And with that being said, starting off in the lightweight division, we need Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett to open up this card. Do I think Bobby Green wins this? No. Call me crazy. I feel like I say that every video. Boys, I feel like Paddy Pimblett fucking wins this, dude. I feel like Paddy Pimblett will piss off Bobby Green at the press conference. Mate, you don't know what you're talking about, mate. You fucking bald twat, mate. What are you talking about? Mate, look at your fucking head, mate. You look like a fucking meatball, lad. What are you talking about? Bobby Green's gonna get fucking mad, you know what I'm saying, dude? He's gonna be like, this fight's gonna be the fucking shit, dude. I'm gonna beat this motherfucker up, dude. And then I feel like Paddy Pimblett might low-key chin him. Bobby Green looked chinny as fuck against Jin Miller, and he looked good when he was landing, but every time he got touched, I swear to God, he was getting jelly-legged. And for that reason, the grappling is also a bit of a question mark in this fight. I want to see this matchup. Tony Ferguson's parents will be going at it at UFC 304. Let's do Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett to open up the main card. Maybe a controversial opinion that I think Paddy wins, but it's a good matchup regardless. Let's move on to another fight that I want to see. Now, this is my realism, you know, my token realism for the card, because obviously I have good fights for the prelims as well that some people would say belong on the main card. But me personally, I know the UFC. You know, obviously I'm employed by the UFC. I'm fighting next week on the pay-per-view. But with that being said, the UFC won't put the biggest names on the card. They're going to try and put at least one big clunky fight together where there's going to be a finish. Let's do Alexander Rockit versus Bogdan Guskov. Now, Bogdan Guskov beat Ryan Spann. Bit of an early stoppage in my opinion. I feel like he could have kept punching, to be honest. I feel like Herb Dean stepped in a bit early, honestly. I wanted to see Ryan Spann get a chance to be a warrior, but all jokes aside, let's continue the Anthony Smith revenge tour, bro. Rockit, you know what you fucking did, dude. You did a walk-off decision on Anthony Smith, and now his twin brother's spinning the block. Agent 47's coming to get you. Let's do Bogdan Guskov, who's probably going to be ranked top 10, versus Alexander Rockit, who's going to be ranked number 5. This is a banger matchup, and like I said, do these two deserve to be above some of the other names on the card? Probably not, but is this more likely to be a finish than those fights? Yes, 110%. I want to see Rockit get back in there. He had a really exciting fight against Yuri Prohaska. He generated one of the funniest post-fight press conferences of the year when Yuri just got on there and was like, I bring the storm, and I'm just guy from Czech Republic, but I'm very happy with this fight, and I want to fight the champions. You know, he generated that. I'm sure he could generate another legendary post-fight moment if Guskov KOs him, or if he beats Guskov, it's going to be a fucking sick fight. So let's do this as the second fight of the night. Kick it off with a bit of a finish after the Bobby Green versus Paddy Pimblett fight. Now for the featured matchup. I'm not going to lie to you here, bro. I wanted to do MVP versus Joaquin Buckley. I feel like MVP versus Buckley is a really good matchup. It's probably the most exciting welterweight matchup you can make. Shit, in the entire division, maybe? I don't know. I got to think about that. But definitely in that bottom barrel of the top 15. So like from 15 to 10. I think the most exciting matchup you can make is Joaquin Buckley versus MVP. Joaquin Buckley just got booked against Nursultan Ruziboyev. Dana White is literally punishing this man for trying to save the fight night in St. Louis. He's like, oh, okay, you want to be the main event? All right. Here's this undefeated fucking foreigner, bro. Have fun, buddy. So for that reason, we can't do Joaquin Buckley versus MVP. Let's give the people what they want. Let's give the people what the fuck they want, all right? There's certain fights that MMA fans have been dying for years, you know, that they'll never get. You know, Brock Lesnar versus Fedor, Bedtime versus Lucas Tracy. You know, they've been begging for that one. They're probably not going to get it because Lucas is ducking. Let's give him at least one dream fight on this card. Let's do Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Michael Venom Page. I think this would be a bit boring. I'm not going to lie to you, but I do think it would sell pay-per-view. So I'm going to scam the UFC audience by putting this as the featured fight, hyping it up, getting their expectations really high. And in all likelihood, we're going to see a unanimous decision victory for MVP here, where he darts around, they kind of emote at each other. Wonderboy lands some cool spinning kick that almost kind of knocks out MVP, but it like grazes past him. MVP drops Wonderboy with like a left hand or some shit. I think it'd be entertaining enough, but I don't think it's going to be worth the hype, but it will generate interest, and it does make sense on a big pay-per-view card as the featured fight. Let's do Wonderboy versus MVP. Fuck it, bro. All right. There's 2 fights left to talk about on the main card. Then I want to talk about some prelims that I'm pretty happy with. And one fight that obviously needs to take place on this pay-per-view, because I'm going to be real with you guys. I have an insane idea for the headliner of this, right? I feel like this headliner is not being discussed enough for UFC 304. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a shocking announcement that Dana White makes, because I can kind of see the puzzle pieces getting put together. But with that being said, if we put together this masterclass main event and this decent card of, you know, Wonderboy MVP, Bobby Green, Paddy Pimblett, I think we're going to sell pay-per-views. We can let it happen, bro. We can finally let it happen, bro. Like, please. Dana White. Dana, give me my shot. Give me my shot, Dana. Literally, I beat all these other guys in the division. Give me my shot, Dana. I feel like I'm going fucking insane. I feel like I'm in Groundhog Day. I've been asking for this fight for a year now. Why hasn't it been made? I don't even want to talk about it again. And I'm not going to, because I've said it in 5 other videos. Go watch any video on my channel. I probably am talking about Leon vs. Bilal at some point in that video. Dana White, just make this fucking fight, bro. Just make this fight, you bald motherfucker, alright, dude? Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad, that's the co-main event. There is one fight left to talk about on this main card. And like I said, this is kind of an insane idea. This is not being talked about really. For some reason, it's completely off the table to a lot of fans. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, why not? Why don't we just make this fight? People are talking about Tom Aspinall being on this card. They're talking about Aspinall versus Blades, Aspinall versus Gane, which they shouldn't do because it doesn't make sense. Gane doesn't deserve it. Blades does. Anyways, I'm saying respectfully, why the fuck are we bothering with those fights? Tom Aspinall's the interim champion. Hey, Dana White, why don't you just book Jon Jones, bro? Why don't you just book Jon Jones? Why the fuck are we so insistent? No, because people are just accepting this shit, dude. And stop interrupting me. Stop commenting. Let me talk right now. All right? Why are we so insistent on Stipe versus Jones? We all think Jones is going to win. I thought Stipe was going to win in 295. Call me crazy. I think Stipe is a nightmare matchup for Jones. That being said, why the fuck are we so set on this fight? Stipe Miocic got knocked out 3 years ago. I've been through a happy relationship and life in that time, bro. What the fuck are we waiting for? Why do we need this fight? If Tom Aspinall's the interim champion, move on. Stipe, your time has passed, brother. You're a grain of sand in the desert of time, brother. Move on, all right? Let's do Aspinall versus Jones. Why the fuck are we so dead set on Stipe versus Jones? It doesn't make sense. I'm sick of it. I would have been fine with it at 295. That was a year ago, almost. I'm sorry. I don't care anymore. Tom Aspinall's the interim champion. He's the next fight for Jones. If you can rush Jamal Salty Man Hill back to UFC 300, you offered a fight to Jon Jones at UFC 300 and he said, look, I just need a little bit more time. Why can't he fight in July? Why can he not fight in July, bro? He's clearly moving around doing rugby shit here in Australia. That explains why I've been hearing sirens around lately. I think Jon Jones is still in the area. But all jokes aside, seriously, am I fucking crazy? Should they not just be like, no, fuck you, you're going to fight Aspinall? Jones, your options are either to retire and be, start beefing with MMA Guru on Twitter, or fight fucking Tom Aspinall right now, bro. Make a choice, because this Stipe shit's off the table. And if they make this fight, do you realize the rest of the division will be completely fucking clear, like crystal clear? You do Blades versus Gane, fight that hasn't happened, that makes sense. The winner of that is next in line for the belt. Curtis Blades will mog Cyril Gane. I promise you that. Okay? Do Stipe versus fucking Marcin Tybura, bro. Marcin Tybura, he's a great fighter, Stipe. You're gonna do well against him. I truly believe that, you know? And imagine the memes if Tybura beats Stipe, bro. Tybura is gonna be the heavyweight GOAT, you guys. So if Stipe wants to fight, sorry, brother, you got knocked out by the PFL champion 3 years ago, mate. You're gonna have to win another fight. Or do Stipe versus Volkov. Regardless, you get what I'm saying. Why the fuck are we so dead set on Aspinall defending his interim belt and Jones fighting Stipe? It makes no sense. Stipe's not a draw. He's not that big of a deal. It's too late. 295 was the time to do it. That time has passed. Your time has come. There's no way out of this one. You have to fight Tom Aspinall. This is my insane idea for the main event of 304. As for the prelims, right? Because, you know, when I make a card builder video, I want to talk about the prelims too. One fight I want to see to open up the prelims, or maybe be the headliner of the early prelims, I want to see Christian Leroy Duncan versus Edmund Shabazian. I think that's an exciting matchup. I think that's a pretty fair, you know, call at middleweight. Both of these guys are probably pretty close to the rankings if I had to take a guess right now. And, you know, this is probably not going the distance. It's probably going to be a crazy fucking one-round fight. So for that reason, let's throw COD a bone. Let's go COD versus Edmund Shabazian. That's a banger matchup. Another fight that I think would be very important to this card. And like I said, some of these next two fights on the prelims could easily be on the main card over Rockit versus Goov. But I could just see the UFC putting that fight above these ones based on the fact that it's more likely to be a finish. Okay? Because this fight's in the flyweight division. I want to see Brandon Royval versus Muhammad Mokaev. Now, the fact that Alex Perez is currently ranked above Mokaev is fucking hilarious to me, and I love that. And I'm so happy that I picked Alex Perez, because I'm a genius, okay? I didn't do the rest of my predictions for that card. You know, I just didn't have the cameras on. Social media was different. I was busy at the time. But I did pick Alex Perez. But with that being said, Muhammad Mokaev, he's one fight away from a title shot. He is one fight away from a title shot. He was borderline going to get one if he finished Alex Perez. So for that reason, let's do Royval versus Mokaev. That's a sick fucking fight, especially because Moreno's taking time off. It makes more sense to do Moreno versus Mokaev, but he's out of the picture. Royval versus Mokaev. If Royval can finish this fucking pipsqueak, he's getting a title fight, dude. It's going to be Royval versus Urseg in Australia if he finishes Mokaev. So let's put that together on the prelims. The last prelim fight I want to talk about may be controversial. Maybe a bit of a, you know, a bit of a hot take that I think this would be on the prelims instead of on the main card, because I guarantee you every other MMA YouTuber will be putting this type of fight or this fighter on the main card. Arnold Allen. I'm going to put him on the prelims against Aljo, bro. I think Dana White is the type of guy to keep Aljo, you know, getting a title shot off the fucking prelims, dog. He got offered Arnold Allen already, so I think coming off the win over Calvin Kattar, Allen versus Sterling makes a lot more sense than the proposed, apparently in the works, Allen versus Chikadze. I don't think that's going to happen, but I've seen rumors about that online. I don't like that fight. It doesn't make sense to me. I would love to see like fucking, you know, Kattar versus Barboza, Chikadze versus Yair Rodriguez, and Arnold Allen versus Aljamain Sterling in the featherweight division. So this would be a sick headliner to the prelims. I can understand why the UFC would put this on the main card because of Arnold Allen, but me personally, based on the fighting styles, I think this is a perfect featured main event of the prelims. But this is my UFC 304 card builder, my insane prediction for the main event, or my pitch for the main event. It should be Aspinall versus Jones. I don't know why that's not an option at all, why they're not looking into that. Maybe that will be announced and it'll be a big, you know, holy shit moment. That's why I'm kind of making this video, just to kind of predict that or put that out in there, because I could see that happening. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think Jones versus Aspinall is a possibility? Who do you think wins that fight? I'm low-key feeling like Aspinall's going to win that, but I don't know. Jones has plot armor, so let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you're enjoying the videos, drop a like, man. Subscribe for the best matchmaking on YouTube, best predictions. I'm going to be doing a lot of UFC 301 content. Obviously, I'm fighting Alexandre Pantoja this weekend, guys. So stay tuned for all of my fight week videos. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, boys. Goodbye.